Hello and welcome back to Morgan's Well for Camp Nano, not so lazy live stream. This time coming to you from the road live while somebody's trying to cut me off. I have Sako with me, who joined me for a road trip to Kentucky. We are on our way back from Imaginarium, a small local convention in Kentucky. I met some people who worked several years ago in an online writing group, and it was amazing to get to meet them in person and find out all their network and basically talk about writing nonstop for the last 72 hours. Did y'all want to go ahead and introduce yourselves? My fellow, live streamers.
Howdy neighbors, I'm Sako Toomey, also known as Voit. I write horror, and I'm a witch, and I'm a graphic designer, and sometimes I combine those three things. So if you are interested in marketing videos for authors, I have a whole playlist of them on my channel, Psycho Sako Voit. Please drop by sometime. I would love to see you.
And Doc.
And I'm Doc Coleman, steampunk author. Although today I'm here in the special position of ground control, just in case we lose contact with Major Morgan and Sako on the road.
We are literally driving through the mountains of West Virginia in the Appalachian right now. So we're about to go down a hill. We might drop out, which is why we went ahead and put the timer up, and we're going to be keeping it there since Doc can't share add screens to the share. Yeah.
It looks like I can hide it again. I'm just not sure if I can share it again.
Let's try it right now while I have connection. Now that it's been added to the stream.
So I can hide it.
Can you share it again?
But I cannot put it back up. So
yeah, that's what I was afraid of.
So we're going to be looking at the camera an awful lot today, folks.
Okay, it was over. Yes, actually, my bad. So y'all just get a look at it the whole time.
Yeah.
But we're super excited to have this very, very special. It's on. Just put myself down.
Yep, it's on.
So I see we have Devin here. Hello and welcome. And we have Lee. Hi.
Yep.
Oh, so what are y'all working
on? I need to work on something today, don't I? I still need to work on my last couple notes, so that's probably going to be particularly uninteresting during sprints because I'm going to be reading over stuff.
Hey, I mean, editing is writing. Rewriting is writing. So
and rereading is part of editing, but
right. Obviously, I will be working on the middle section of a 10-hour in Kentucky. But this past week, the story that I got beta read by Doc and my friend Sarah, I sent out to Cricket Children's Magazine. So I'm eagerly awaiting 3 to 6 months to see if they love it or, it's not quite right for what they're looking for. So we'll just wait and see. But I'm super excited to have a short that I wrote 2 years ago, polished, ready, and out the door. So, Cass, Sako, what are you working on?
I'm going to read this thing, which is I purchased from a fellow writer at Imaginarium, Stories We Tell After Midnight, edited by Rachel Brune. It seems to be a non-amalgamation anthology. So I'm gonna see if there's any cool stories, new authors that I want to hunt down.
That's super awesome. And one of the joys of anthologies, really.
Yes.
I actually went to a panel on anthologies and pacing and stuff. It was pretty awesome. So yeah, our weekend was full of panels. I was on 3, Sako was on 2.5,
That was long 2.5. Yeah.
There was a scheduling snafu with one of them. Yeah. And my very sacrilegious bad pun, 2 puns for the price of one costume, made me the belle of the ball. I won the masquerade with my Beauty and the Mark of the Beast slash Hell's Bell costume. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Beauty and the Mark of the Beast. Yep.
I got to dance on to the stage to Tale as Old as Time and then celebrate my win to Hell's Bells for the victory lap. Because there was a DJ. So that was super fun. So fun. So what is everybody tuning in online doing? Are y'all writing? Are you doing camp? What are y'all doing? I'm doing an edit camp, so, and I should probably start soon. But I did edit that one short story and get it out, so,
Which is awesome.
you know.
Super awesome.
So not seeing anything in the chat right now. Come on, people. Type, hit that enter key so we can see it.
I hear you. So yeah. I just came from a Zoom discussion about panels and what they're looking for in panelists and that sort of thing for this year's WorldCon. So that was nice. Lee says they're working on the same old, same old. I mean, I hear that. That's one thing they never tell you about being a writer is how long it takes to finish anything. And then you have to edit it more than once. And so are y'all ready to do a sprint maybe?
Maybe let's do it.
Let me know when you're ready, Doc, and I'll go ahead and mute on this end.
Alrighty. So we're doing this for 20 minutes and 21 seconds because it's 2021.
And because it still amuses Morgan because she's very, very easily entertained.
All right, ready to get started in 3, 2, 1, right. And that's our timer.
And we're back. How was your sprint?
I at least found the section I was looking for and started doing some reading, but killed a couple typos, but it's been
Are these persistent typos that made it through 2 drafts?
Quite possibly, but it's little things like, saying, I joined Professor Crackle, but what got put down on the paper was I jointed Professor Crackle, and it's like, that's not right.
That's a different activity.
Yeah.
So what about people in the chat? I see we have a moon buddy. Hello.
Hi, Sage.
Thank you for joining our road trip live stream.
And Moon Bunny likes the emergency backup chimes for the emergency backup timer.
Emergency backup timer.
Yep.
Divine Devin.
Yep.
Sensational Sage.
So during that sprint, we hit Bell, West Virginia, which is the name we gave this lovely car on our way here because she had made it through the worst part of the mountains and come out the other side, and she was 102,000 miles, and she had earned a name, and then we passed Bell, West Virginia, and clearly it was a literal sign, so we named her Bell before I wore my Bell costume. So, it's kind of a theme of the weekend at this point.
Mm-hmm. It's a tale as old as time.
Exactly. CB, hello and welcome.
Hi, CB.
So, yeah, I drove through West Virginia, and now I'm going to go through the worst of the mountains. So, yeah. With my little 4-cylinder engine that could.
So, Morgan, we attended a bunch of panels.
We totally did.
This past weekend. What was the biggest takeaway that you walked away with this weekend?
So I think like all the panels, had lots of information. I took tons of notes. I'll be sharing them because I'm Morgan. But I think one of the biggest ones is you always see all the writers, chumming for reviews because you need reviews for Amazon to show your stuff to anybody to get any sort of traction. But one of the panels, they said, hey, if your mom gets all her friends to read it, like, your mom's Oprah book club and all her friends read it, and you get 25 reviews from people who usually read something else, Amazon is going to try and sell it to them instead of your actual target audience, and you're going to flop. So not only do you have to chum for reviews, you have to make sure it's from people who actually read your stuff or your genre, not just people who love and support you. Yeah. So, I mean, as if we didn't need another bar to make it even harder. But I thought it was really important to be like, oh, don't just pressure anyone to do the reviews. Pressure people who love your genre in the first place. Plus, that's who's going to be giving you better reviews, hopefully, in the first place. So, what about you, Sako? Was there any big, huge takeaways for you?
I want to say it was validation for a lot of the stuff that I believe in when it comes to writing.
Oh, I have a story on that too.
Oh, great. Do you want to tell that story first?
Sure. I went to a workshop on the Meisner method.
Oh, nice.
Which is an acting method. It's not method acting, but it's you think about where the character was beforehand, what emotional state they're bringing into the scene, and what they're going to do afterwards, and just you put them in context in your head, and applying that to characters and story is definitely a thing we can do, especially with different scenes and stuff. And I've never heard another writer say this. Usually I hear people say that the characters are talking to them and stuff, but I'm so much more conceptual than actual words or actual images in my head. And she used the phrase, you just logic what happens next. Not that what happens next is logical, but because of who the character is and what the setting is, and what they're going through right now, what is the most probable thing that this character will respond in what way. And so I that's how I write. I say that I logic my way through the outline. Like, well, if I do this and I'm trying to go there, then I guess I need this sort of step and this sort of step. And so I thought, yay, I'm not the only one who does this. And it was amazing to hear somebody else say, use my logicking term, because and I'm not dissing those of you who love the creativity and the flow. I'm just saying that's not my process. And it was really encouraging because I've never heard anyone else use that phrase while writing.
I think there are two kinds of people. There are people who can visualize, and then there are people who can't. They don't see the movie in their head. They see the script, right? So they like A plus B equals C as opposed to C, right? So Morgan is obviously of Team B, and I am of Team A.
I mean, as a graphics person, that makes so much more sense.
And everything I do is visual. So whenever I think of a word, I see the word like in my head, or I have like a picture as well associated with whatever word. So like,
do you have synesthesia?
I don't know what that means.
Synesthesia. It means that you sense things with an alternative sense, like people who smell
like
color.
A number has a certain color to you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a word for that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Also, hi, Mama Ward. I saw you come in.
Okay, and I see we also have Kelly. I don't know if you've joined my stream before. I love new people. Yay!
Yay!
This is not a normal stream. This is the coming to you live from the actual road because Sako joined me, and we road tripped from Virginia to Kentucky for a convention, and we're on our way back right now. And driving through the mountains of West Virginia, and Doc, who sometimes joins the stream, was very, very giving and kind and offered to be ground station for when if our signal drops.
Which so far it's done pretty good.
But as far as
I'm about to go through a valley, so we'll see.
We'll see. So as far as the kind of stuff that I walked away with this weekend was validation for like how I used to do things, and it was a great reminder. Like how to engage with people when selling at a con, for instance, and also apparently my opinion matters when it comes to urban fantasy. That was, and like I wasn't even like the first one to bring it up, but like that the city is a character in and of itself, for instance. I was like, exactly, like it was a breath of fresh air regarding how I write and what I write, especially since AuthorTube is very YA, paranormal romance sort of like situation. It was really nice to like come across some horror authors and some dark authors. It was really nice.
I mean, you may have spent 20 minutes validating me as a editor critiquer.
Oh yeah.
So that was an amazing part of my weekend.
For those who don't know, Morgan here was the beta reader for Hope's Chest, which was my debut novel,
which I really enjoyed.
Which is phenomenal because her developmental editing, quote unquote, her commentary regarding my developmental stuff was essential. As far as like how
you're making me blush again.
How that book came across. So there's I dare mentioned that maybe Morgan should go into editing services as a profession, maybe as a side hustle or something, so like, you know how it is.
Yep. There are plenty of writers out there who edit on the side.
Yep.
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like, hey, if it brings in money.
And I think there are a lot of editors who won't do developmental stuff.
My edits are the most boring. I don't want to look up commas all day. Right? Isn't that what copy editing is? Looking up commas all day?
Gosh, now I gotta rack my brain for this.
In my head, and I know the terms are used differently by different people, but developmental is usually pacing and characterization and plotting, where line edits are maybe word choice and phrasing, and copy edits are, is your grammar correct? Is your punctuation correct? Is the spacing right? That's generally how it's defined, but people use different terms for different things. Nothing in the writing industry is standardized.
Yeah.
And Moon Bunny is saying it's a little bit more involved than that, but you're basically correct.
Yeah.
With the comment that Moon Bunny is one of those editors who won't do developmental.
Right. Sage mentions that developmental editing is super important and is a rare skill. I'm one of those editors who won't do developmental, but it's a little more involved than that.
Yeah.
Comma, comma, comma. Comma, 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 comma. Come and go. You come and go.
Oh my.
Sorry. Grammar jokes.
I mean, we have the right audience for a grammar joke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is true.
Who's there?
Two.
To who?
To whom?
Oh, I got a really, really bad joke for when you're at a convention. I got it from a guy who said it was his kids, and I guess his kid is like 8 or 12. I don't know. His kid might be 25 for all I know. But his friend, his kid will be like, "Hey, can I have your card?" You know, because you're at a convention and you're handing out your little business card, and then he'll be like, "Hey, do you want to see a magic trick or a card trick?" And you're like, "Sure." And he holds up your business card and goes, "Is this your card?"
But
I was like, I'm stealing that. And they're like, "Oh my gosh, you think my like kid's little joke is?" And I'm like, I won the costume contest on the back of 2 puns for the price of 1.
Yeah.
So I am your target audience for very cheesy puns and jokes.
Lol, to whom? Yeah. I'm glad the audience thought that was funny too. The chat is also laughing.
Excellent. Oh. So how was y'all's spread in the chat? Let me know. And Sako will tell me because I am driving and should not be reading.
Yes, I will read. Yeah. What the fuck, fingers?
Well, we Moon Buddy had a comment earlier that was during that sprint I finished, I think, the fic I was working on, and
that's awesome.
I'm kind of wondering, it's like, do you hate the story or do you hate that it's over?
Oh, right.
I would say step away. So often I finish a piece and I'm like, that was not as good as I was hoping it would come out to be. It just didn't. And then when I go back to read it, I'm like, oh, that's not half bad. Mm-hmm. So give yourself a little distance. And you know, one of the things that came up this weekend that I've heard before is, you know, when you look at your own art, you look at it and you see something you could have done. And that's why we judge ourselves so harshly. And you need to be able to step back and evaluate it based on objectively and not necessarily based on where you wish you were.
Not just that, but sometimes I will not I will sit down to pencil something, and then I will walk away from it for a while before I even think of starting to ink. That way, when I come back, I can see the flaws. Because sometimes when I'm like super close to the painting, I can't tell what's wrong with it.
Yeah, I've recently had to make the point to somebody that even the best published author in the world, if they pick up their work and they start looking through it, they will find things that they wish they'd done differently.
Always.
Yeah.
So many authors will never reread stuff they have.
Yeah.
They might skim through if they need to double check, hair color, pacing, when this happened on the timeline. But it can be really hard to read your own stuff. And I guess this leads into one of my favorite notes of, if your story puts you to sleep, it doesn't mean your story is boring. It just means you know it so well inside and out that the suspense doesn't work for you.
Yeah.
Or you're not getting enough sleep.
Right. Or you're exhausted. But don't take you falling asleep doing your own thing as a sign that your story is boring.
So BC and I have been writing a book together, right? And we finished draft 2 in March.
Yay!
We talked to an editor in April. We intended to write draft 3 in May, and then June, and we instead took a break. And I think taking a break between draft 2 and draft 3 was essential, because then we could come back to the story with objective eyes and actually be able to say, hey, this scene is actually really good, or hey, I can make this sentence even better, or stuff like that.
I am so glad I quit writing for 3 months and I just read a lot of books. I finally finished a beta read that had been on my schedule for a while. But by taking an intentional break rather than just not getting around to it and feeling bad and guilt tripping myself as I fell further and further behind schedule, I gave myself permission not to stress about it and actually took some downtime, because something we do as writers, most of us have day jobs, and even if we don't, we've got the hustle, and it's so hard to take time off. And so taking a break and getting time off that's intentional, not I should have, but I played hooky, is really
so
good.
That's touching on toxic productivity.
Yeah. Whoa, shit, that person is on my tail. Sorry. I'm going to get the bleep out of their way because they are riding they were half a foot away. I was not comfortable with that situation.
I don't blame you.
So hi. Okay, we're back.
So
Yeah.
Penumbra board, the stop and revising point is one I have to beat myself like it's a newspaper and I'm a bad dog. I do not advocate hitting any animals or oneself, just a metaphor.
Wait. What if it's an empty plastic water bottle and I'm bouncing it off my forehead? Is that okay? Because that's a cool stress relief.
Yeah.
And it makes a neat sound.
And it goes thump, 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 or thump, thump, thump.
Sometimes it's more of a
So a bit earlier, Moon Bunny clarified that I'm hating the story. It's just feeling a little disjointed, but I've sent it off to my trusted CPs and we'll revisit it in the morning. I could leave it longer, but deadlines. So.
I hear that. I actually never let anyone see a rough draft of anything I do. They see my first draft, which is me not revising, but just editing and making sure all the sentences are coherent and nothing got missed.
This is exactly why I have a 0 draft.
That's my 0 draft. My rough draft is my 0 draft. It doesn't get a number until I've read it.
Yeah, I need to have read it and refined some of the hard edges.
And, sometimes, you're doing nano and you go back and look at it 6 months later and you realize that that paragraph, that chapter wasn't quite as coherent as you expected it to have been.
Or there's a lot of useless gibber because you were trying to meet word count.
Right.
If it was nano, of course.
Yeah. I actually have a false start in my last nano where I went one direction.
Oh, sure.
And I was like, wait, let me back up. And I didn't delete anything. I just started over again without deleting anything. But I still love my intro because I have my little fairy tale. Once upon a time in a long shore far, far away.
There is a
when you're doing nano, you don't do any cuts until after nano.
Exactly. And sometimes I do side vignettes, like backstory and world building of other characters and setting. And they count toward my word count, but it's mostly for me. It's not for the story.
And Moon Bunny says, rarely do more than one draft on my fix. They tend to be a one and done sort of situation.
Right.
Original work, though, that I can really go down the draft spiral with. So if you're working on like a novel, for instance, or a short story that isn't a fic, I suspect that is
my fic TV fanfic.
Okay. Yeah. Yuri on Ice.
I loved that. Oh my God, you wrote Yuri on Ice? Okay, so wait, I read a Persephone redo of that. I know nothing else about Yuri on Ice.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, somebody wrote a Persephone retelling. Only Hades and Persephone are both boy characters from Yuri on Ice.
Oh,
and oh my God, that was amazing. And that's the only thing I've ever read on Archive of Her Own.
Oh, I see.
But yeah, so
TV doesn't delete anything. I create a trash draft. I used to do the same.
Yeah.
I don't do that much anymore though.
When I do revisions, when I'm cutting scenes and stuff, I will have copied into a new draft whenever I start. So anything I get cut is in the previous draft.
If I'm doing edits, I will delete words. But if I'm printing something out and like selecting paragraphs, those I cut out and I paste it into one of the reference documents in Scrivener. So if I need to go back to those words, they're somewhere.
I was dissing Scrivener again earlier today, but that's because I'm on Windows.
Yeah, we were comparing the PC version to the Mac version, and I was like, I love Scrivener, but I'm on a Mac. So the PC version got like hacked really hard.
Yeah, I'm like, if I wrote out of order or had tons of notes and things and, very often rearranged scenes and stuff, maybe, but for my use, Google Docs works fine for me. When it gets really big, I can do work offline and any lag disappears and it's totally fine. Auto syncs to my phone and my work thing. Rest area. Oh, yes, sorry.
Were you looking at the Windows 3 version of Scrivener?
It was about 3 years ago when I won Nano.
Okay.
So it's Scrivener 1.
Admittedly,
I know they've updated.
Yeah, they've updated, and the Mac got a lot of things that didn't get to Windows until the latest update. So
yeah, basically, I got it because I won Nano, and I had the discount, and so I picked it up because everybody gushes about it, and this guy's coming up, and I'm working my way through the tutorial, and I go to minimize 3 sections and accidentally deleted them.
Oh.
And I was already cringing because I've done, website stuff. I've done application design, and it was so clunky. It hurt my eyes because it looked so 90s.
Yeah.
And I hated the aesthetic. And I was like, okay, anything that takes me more than an hour to use and I break it, trying to minimize stuff when I do UI design and I'm tech savvy is BS and clearly not for me. Mac users enjoy, Window users.
Oh no, not making an argument that you should like it. Just want to make sure everyone knows what you're comparing.
Right. Yeah.
An older version and a current version. So
Right.
it looks like y'all are stopping for a rest stop. So should I start the counter for a new sprint?
Sure. Why not? Let's go ahead and do that.
Okay. All right. So starting a new sprint in 3, 2, 1, right.
Okay. Let me trash this. Oh, that's your new one. Oh, you already trashed? Awesome.
Mic's on.
Oh shit, sorry.
And we're back.
Yep.
We're going through toll booth.
Toll booth.
There we are.
How was your sprint?
I did fairly well. I got through a chunk of stuff. I think I still need to add some stuff here and there, but I made some decent progress.
Yeah.
How did things go with Operation Rest Stop?
They had a lot of hands-free stuff, which was really awesome. The merge lane was quite adequate, which coming from the DC metro area is not always the case. And yeah, so mission accomplished.
Yay.
CB got 287 words. That's awesome, CB.
Yeah. CB is the one who writes Tony
Pepperoni. Yeah.
There we go.
Yep.
Pepperoni pick.
Who apparently also has a new 400-pound laptop.
Oh, wow.
Aww.
I'm also in the new laptop department. My laptop went tits up, and I lost so much writing.
Oh no.
My entire egg series gone.
No. When was this?
This was like 2 weeks ago.
What? Why did I not know this?
Yeah, I lost.
What?
We still have that memo because it was on Google Docs.
Right. Oh my god.
I might check my dying portable drive and see if I have a backup copy.
You didn't have it on like Dropbox or something?
No.
Oh no. So back up your work and make sure it's not all on one thing.
I am a poster child of if you do everything in Scrivener, back up your files on a different drive, on a different cloud, on just somewhere else, so that if your drive goes
at least once a month, if not like daily.
If not daily, then at least
The classic engineer statement is that if your work doesn't exist in 3 places in at least 2 formats, it doesn't exist.
Well, there's also the coder standard of works on my machine means nothing. It must be repeatable on someone else's box.
Yeah.
Which I think should apply to drafts. Oh my god, I'm so stupid. Had you emailed anybody some or
no?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
So, Sako, did the laptop just suddenly fail one day, or?
Yeah, the hard drive decided that I had put too much stuff on it, and when I came back from my camping event, during one of these Sunday streams, my hard drive was like falling for some reason.
Right, I remember you struggling with it.
So I tried to reboot, and it wouldn't reboot.
Can you take it to the shop? Sometimes they can do recovery.
Maybe. I don't know how much they'll charge for it.
Yeah.
Because the shop is like
right.
I
can do a reach out to my local tech Facebook group and see if anybody has anything. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Nightmare scenario.
Nightmare scenario.
Yeah.
So everything I did for my Bella project, everything I did for my, I might have ancient stuff like missing 15,000 words on Google Docs. That's a possibility. But yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh my god.
And I lost a bunch of design work that I just refreshed my portfolio with.
Yeah.
My brain is going through every curse word it knows and trying to come up with a few new ones. Wow.
That's I mean, I've always been one for regular backups. I use I've got a Mac, so I use Time Machine
That's smart.
to keep regular backups. And although one of my Time Machine drives has recently failed, and I keep getting
One of mine did too.
messages, and I've got a replacement drive, but I haven't gotten it set up yet. But I also do backups using Carbonite,
Yeah, that's
which I'm paying to back up into the cloud, but I've got something.
You've now reminded me that I usually download a copy every once again, so it's not just on Google Drive.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thinking of emailing a copy, like a Word attachment, rather than just a Google link to maybe one of my other email accounts, just in case.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like my Yahoo email.
well, maybe.
Just, so I have the attachment file just in case for all my stuff.
Yeah, I am like poster child for the horror story.
Oh God. I would offer you a drink, but I'm driving. Well, I got you a drink this weekend. So I got it in advance.
You got it in advance. Yeah.
Oh, that's so rough.
Yeah, I appreciate the condolences, Mama Lord.
I actually do have alcohol that's reachable, but yeah.
Yeah, let's not open the canister in the car.
Not on the front seat while I'm driving.
Not in the
back seat.
Yeah.
It used to be that if it wasn't reachable by the driver, it was okay in Virginia.
No open containers in the car.
Okay, because I remember
even if it's in the back seat, if it's open.
Okay, because when my friend became a cop, he said it was okay when I was giving him a ride to a concert, like back in like the aughts.
It's never been.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I was told. And I wasn't the one doing it, so.
Oh.
I believe Four Loko was involved.
Nice.
So that was the thing. It happened long ago in a galaxy far away before, many people I know were born.
Yeah, as far as I know, at least in Virginia, no open containers in the car.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's changed. I don't know if he was misinformed.
He might have been misinformed.
He was a cop.
It doesn't matter.
But in the neighboring county, I don't know if it's different from county.
Well, that may just mean that he was using the fact that he was a cop to get away with it.
Maybe, but he doesn't usually roll like that. I don't know.
Oh.
So,
Anyway,
that was a long time ago, and it's not like I can Google anything while driving through West Virginia.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll drink in spirit.
Right. So, okay, I'm still on 64. Oh, did I mention I get to spend 7 hours on 64?
7 hours.
That sounds frightfully familiar.
On one road.
One road. There are 3 instances where it says go right to stay on 64 or go left to stay on 64. But yeah, we're 64 for 7 hours and then like 81 for an hour and then 66.
Mm-hmm.
The math may be a little off by like half hour here or there, but whatever.
I've done a couple trips down to the Carolinas for Ren fairs, and it's things like you get on to 81, keep going on 81.
Yeah,
keep going on 81. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's your choice of how many you've got. This many hours you're going to spend on the interstate. It's either going to be 81 or 95. Pick which way.
Pretty much. My brother lives in North Carolina in kind of the center of the state. So if you go 81, you got to go in. And if you go 95, you got to go in. But I have a friend with a small plane that could go straight and save 3, maybe 4 hours
Yeah.
both ways, which sounds pretty nice. Maybe we should get him to fly us out next year.
Oh, maybe.
Right? So, looks like CB has everything emailed to herself.
That is
Yeah.
right.
CB's got 3 email accounts and prints everything.
Yeah.
I usually try to print out a copy at least once in the editing process because paper is just so different. But I do so much. I think my first round of revisions is printed and works best that way.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to not do that on the last revision I did, and I think my process really hurt for that.
Oh, my last revision of Hope's Chest.
Mm-hmm.
I lost that too.
Yeah. But for the book I'm actively querying agents for right now, I PDF copied it to my Kindle so I would read it on a different platform, and I took notes like long form on a pad of paper. But just getting off the computer screen and getting a different perspective, even if you don't. I read the entire thing aloud to myself. Sometimes, what's under your breath? Soto something.
Soto voce.
Thank you. Soto voce. Voce. I don't know. But it's like when you're mumbling to yourself and people can't really hear you, but they can tell that you're saying something.
I actually practice an audiobook version of whatever I've written.
Nice.
So I kind of like practice my voice acting chops, and I also read my book aloud.
After about 3 chapters, though, my voice starts to die.
Oh, I never do more than 1 chapter at a time.
Yeah. So when I was doing a bunch of chapters, I was just when I read something in my head, like reading a book, I don't necessarily pronounce all the words in my head, and that's what I need to do when I'm editing.
Yeah.
Which sounds a little weird unless that's what you do too.
Yeah.
I've done read aloud edits, and I have been tempted at times because being the person that I am, I just tend to do the voices anyway. But
obviously,
I've been tempted to record it, but it's like, no, these are early edits. I'm still going to find things that need to be changed, and it's like, if I record it, then I'm just going to have to do it over.
But if you record an early draft because it's not the released version, doesn't that mean it doesn't give away first rights?
Oh.
Yeah, but I can't put that on Audible.
But maybe you could put it on a Patreon or something like that.
I would have to have enough of a following to make a Patreon worth it.
But perhaps you could record it now and wait until you have that following and just save it for then. Because I know a lot of artists and stuff like that will share early work and people love it.
Especially if it's read by the author.
Right? Did I show off my records? I have of Asimov reading some scenes from The Foundation.
Oh, cool.
And I have Herbert reading a scene from Dune.
Nice.
And, people like to see things in process and saying, hey, this is from an early draft.
Yeah.
It's like a behind the scenes thing after you hit big. You have to have recorded the behind the scenes things without knowing if you were going to hit big to have that material.
Mama Ward says, I read everything to myself as I do the early edit passes. And then for the second to the last pass, I let the computer read it in a male voice.
Ew. I like to do a different accent than mine. There's a lovely South African woman voice that I love to hear my stuff in. Plus, because it's a different accent, it makes words that were wrong stand out more.
It makes the wrong words more wrong, so you can pick them out.
Exactly. Don't know how it works, but that's how it works. Richmond used 64 East, which is what we're going to do anyway. So I turned off my GPS as to not overtax my poor phone.
Mm.
Just gonna scooch on by here. Oh, so what do you say about another sprint? We're at 6 o'clock now. I think we can fit one more in before the end.
Yeah, we should be able to get another one in.
I know it's Camp Nano, and a lot of people are editing and writing away. This is, not just a talking about writing session. We are, in fact, trying to be moderately productive.
Trying.
And, sometimes the words work and sometimes they don't.
Yep. Okay, so I believe I'm ready. So let's get started in 3, 2, 1, right.
during that sprint, Sako and I came up with the real question, the hard stuff. Sandwiches. Would you rather have dinosaur shape or penguin shape? Or traditional?
Sandwiches?
Yes. If you had like a sandwich cutter that cut them out into the shape of dinosaurs or penguins, or traditional, I guess, either like straight, quartered, or diagonals.
Interesting question.
I mean,
If you could have dinosaurs.
right. I was talking about how for lunch I very often do dinosaur chicken nuggets, a bowl of mixed veggies, and some yogurt. And she has dinosaurs in most well, yeah, sometimes other chicken nuggets. I get freezer pack. But if you could have dinosaur, why wouldn't you? And then she said that she has sandwich cutters that are both penguin and dinosaur, and I can't decide which. I mean, sometimes I feel fierce, maybe dinosaur when I'm feeling fierce, and penguin when I'm protesting the temperature they keep in the office.
Sure.
Why not both? Right? No.
Not both.
Then you can have the dinosaur sandwich, eat the penguin sandwich, and then you can prove your place at the top of the food chain by eating them both.
Okay. I'm there. It looks like CB is 100% into the penguin-shaped ones.
Mm.
Oh, and we got a Lizzie while we were on
Yeah.
break. Hi. I saw that you were celebrating your mother's birthday, renting a condo and having some family time. So I hope that's enjoyable.
On the beach, no less.
Ooh, I missed that because of driving.
Yeah.
Yep. They got 2 writing sessions near the beach, but there's no Wi-Fi outside. She said she's been editing the same exact chapter for the past week, chapter 15, sledding accident. Finally found a fix yesterday, but I realized that I need to cut half the stuff I edited yesterday. Yep. She learned the scene is learned if the scene has better structure without it, it needs to be gone. The same lame convo lasted forever.
And that is an example of what they mean when they say kill your darlings. Not just kill them because you love them, but kill them because they don't do what you need them to do.
They no longer serve you.
They don't serve the story.
Precisely. There we go.
So So how was y'all's spreads? I saw that CB got another 200 change words, I think. I'm driving. I don't know anything.
TB's got 208 words.
I thought so. Stats, total stats. Me with my poor, I can only snap left-handed with these 2 fingers. That's so weird. It's so weird. I think it's because of my hypermobility and the angle my joints are. I don't know. Not good. This is what you get with this hand. Only thing I can do. You're mocking my stats inadequacies.
Super fun.
Okay.
Oh, that truck is moving. I thought it pulled over. Or maybe I can't.
No, it's moving.
Okay.
It's just moving very slow.
It is in first gear on the highway in the right lane with blinkers.
Yep.
Lovely.
Right towards the top of the mountain.
Well, that would do it.
We were at 2,600, maybe 2,700 feet. Then we went down steep enough that there were 2, maybe 3 different truck runoff spaces. And now we're going back up, and I think we're about to go down again. Because we are in West Virginia, driving through the Appalachians.
Yep. And it's very, very typical when driving through West Virginia that you will pass the truck going up the hill, and it will pass you going down the next side.
Absolutely.
Oh,
And you will play leapfrog all the way.
I may feel obligated to listen to West Virginia mountain roads after the stream.
Yeah.
There may have to be at least one rendition.
To the place where I
alone.
Yeah.
West Virginia.
We may be starting to get punchy.
We're getting a little much.
Just a bit. Just a bit.
I mean, we're on hour 5 today.
Uh,
We're not talking about how much sleep we got during the convention.
We're just talking
Although,
about
in my defense, I did not hit nearly as many panels as I usually do. Potentially because they started at 10 and stopped at 5.
and also they all the good ones overlapped.
I mean, they always overlap. That's normal.
yeah.
But
No.
so the convention.
Jesus Christ, did we hit a bird?
I don't think so.
No, just a really large bug.
Okay.
I was like,
One of the
Jesus.
wow.
I'm sorry.
And you get to go back and watch the replay of this and see your face when your eyes are,
Right. Well, when I glanced at it, I just realized it was a bug smear. I thought it was just a dropping, shall we say?
We hit it was definitely the ass end of a bug. Just a very large bug. And I was like, did we hit a bird?
Mom Award. YouTube cannot monetize me because I am not nearly large enough, nor do I have enough views to even be close to their bare minimum. And I am sure they will rewrite the rules before I get there. But I do appreciate you watching for the length of the stream to aid in my endeavor to eventually someday be at the old ballpark for monetization.
Yeah. How can they monetize us when we're not making any money off of this?
Right, exactly. This is when I say slam that like button if you've enjoyed hanging out with us on our road trip. So, what was it? Oh. Hi, who's with us today?
This is Trill.
Hi, I never remember your cat's names, but I don't remember Sako's either, so you know.
So how are you coming on getting your own cat?
Their names are Hey Kitty, 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 Kitty.
Their names are Pretty Kitty and Pretty Kitty.
Pretty Kitty. I did actually do a panel on Zoom etiquette online today for the convention I was at. And
dogs barking. And you were like, dogs are absolutely welcome.
Dogs are welcome. Cats are welcome. You may want to mute yourself if the dogs are noisy. You may want to go into walkie-talkie mode with your space bar. But the rules of Zoom are pets are always welcome. And if they come on, please introduce them to us.
Yeah.
And fun fact, one of my fellow panelists was someone I trained on Zoom for Concealment. So I thought that was a great way to establish my SME credits, my subject matter expert. Subject matter expert. Is that a song? Now it is.
Now it is.
Excellent.
We will go into the song about lips.
Aw, there's a song about me.
Excuse me.
Great. Oh, now you have the super villain look because you did the long pet. The long. True facts about Doc.
The supervillain petting.
Are you evil? Did I just not know?
I embrace all sides of my personality.
Doc has a third world country under his belt.
Yes, but unfortunately, it's not providing a good income.
Well, we are at 6:30 already.
Yep.
Already.
I mean, I'm still in West Virginia. I've been in West Virginia the whole stream, so. But I promise I've made some progress in the easterly direction. So, did you want to go ahead and give your outro and tell people how fabulous you are and where to find you when you are not assisting in my stream?
when I'm
Which
not.
I thank you profusely.
but I'm not providing ground control duties. All right. I am Doc Coleman, steampunk author, and you can find my writings and my website by searching Doc Coleman Steampunk. It'll take you right to where I am. And you can also look forward to seeing some future panels of mine on Continual. I recorded a Continual panel last week, and I'm going to be recording another one this week.
That's awesome.
That's the online convention that never ends.
That's pretty sweet.
Yep.
Sako?
I guess it's my turn.
Yeah. You can tilt it towards you if you want.
No, it's okay. As long as you don't mind me,
No,
I
do it.
lead it over. Howdy, Howlers. I'm Sako Toomey, also known as Voit. I write horror, urban fantasy, supernatural, thriller type things. I'm also a witch. I'm a chaos witch, and I'm a graphic designer. It is what my degree is in. If you are interested in videos on marketing yourself as an author, I have videos on the topic on my channel. They're in a playlist and everything. Please drop by. I would love to see you.
And I see Mama Ward has offered us evil cookies. Yay! I'm, as always, your host, Morgan Hazelwood. I am an actively querying fantasy author, and I blog, podcast, writing tips and pros from conventions like this weekend, and also writerly musings from my own journey towards publication. So you can find me everywhere as Morgan Hazelwood, except Twitter, where Morgan Hazelwood, because someone is sitting on that account, and someday it will be mine. Thank you all for joining. I hope you have a great Camp Nano if you're doing it, a great Sunday if you're not. Well, either way, actually. I will probably post on Facebook and Twitter when I get home safely.
Drive safe.
So, thank you for joining us for this live special event from a car. and did we even lose signal?
There were a couple times when you blipped out, but it was only for like a second.
That's sweet. So, really excited that this worked out, and hopefully y'all enjoyed your productivity or, your snack breaks. I don't judge. You know me. So, have a great week, and I'll be back again next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.